Should be good in just a second.
Seeing the presence of a quorum, I am calling the Pelham School Committee meeting to order on Tuesday, May 5th at 5:36 p.m. There is one written public comment. I received no email or voicemail public comments for tonight. So we'll move right into the new and continuing business, and the first item on the agenda is an executive session. We're going to go into the history room, which is the little room right next door. So I move to go into executive session under general law, chapter 30A, section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the public body, and the chair so declares, Hoagland versus Town of Pelham, with intent to return to open session. Second. To do a roll call vote. Rachel? Yes. Jenny? Yeah. William?
Yes.
Sarah Beth?
Yes.
Margaret? Yes. All right, we will move into the history room for an executive session.
We're very clear that we are not allowed to.
Okay.
I never knew that.
Thank you. We learned that. You hear me?
How do I do? Analytics. There's comments. That's not concerning.
Are you okay?
Oh, sorry, I thought we had muted. Yes, the building is just shaking a little bit.
Okay, be careful.
Not concerning.
All right. So the next item is are you all set, Seth? Next item is the fiscal year 26 quarter 3 update.
Hi, everyone, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right,
Is
I know
Shannon- I
she
think we're-
is, I know I'm not a Shannon, but she's on her way.
Okay.
So I did craft a memorandum. Shannon and I summarized where we are with quarter 3. And so I think she needs to be brought into I don't know why, but can we move her into as a part? There she is. All right, so Shannon, we're starting with the quarter 3 memo. There are some critical things that we need the school committee to pay close attention to. We also have some suggested motions at the end, but I will hand it over to Shannon to talk about where we are with our quarter 3 update.
Okay, sorry, little technical difficulties. I'm just going to pull up the screen. Okay, you can all see it?
Yes.
Okay. So we are at the end of quarter 3, which is January through March 31st. And our payroll lines they look in great shape. We paid the retros for Unit A and Unit C in April, so it did not hit in Q3 like we were hoping. So that's why it's slightly under than anticipated at this point. Our substitute line is also doing really well. When I went back to look at the previous fiscal years and Q3 reports, this is way under where we have been. So that is a great sign, and I'm really happy to see that. In our instructional supplies, those are things that are purchased throughout the year for classroom teachers and things of that sort. That's at 51%, so that's really good. Although I did see some requisitions coming in, so I anticipate some of that being used. We're going to talk a little bit about special education and support services here. So within special education, something that we've been talking about throughout the year is we have a student that choiced into the district that had special needs, but had to go to a program outside of the district. So we have to front that bill up front, and it's approximately $131,000. But we will get back that money from the school that they are zoned to live in. So we pay up the bill, but we'll get the money in our school choice revenue account. So I'm going to be asking for a formal vote to increase school choice funds for $131,000 to support the budget for this year, knowing that money is coming back into that account, but being able to balance come end of year, we'll need to do that. In support services, we had a student that is a Pelham resident, so they are our student, but they choiced out of the district. We had originally known that the student had special education needs, so we had budgeted $51,700 within the special education lines to support that student with some of the services we would have to provide. However, because they decided to choice out to another school district, that school district is paying for their special education services, and we're being charged on the back end as our school choice assessment. So kind of the opposite of what happened before. So I'm anticipating that we will not only need to transfer the 51,000 from the special ed line to support services, but when I look at what's been billed on a monthly basis, through the end of the year, we would need an additional $20,210 in order to cover those costs. So I do notice when we get to another section, I forgot to put that piece of the vote on. So we can either modify that vote or we can save it for Q4 report just in case we don't need it. But if we don't need additional school choice funds, even if we vote it, I won't use it. And we'll reserve that. That'll be done in like July or so when I start finalizing the budget. I actually would like to add that in if we could tonight. Moving down to facilities. So we talked about the sprinkler system inspection that was at the Q2 report. So that is hitting within these lines. It's a little over $8,500 or so. Moving forward in our capital planning document, 5 years from now, I have in a fiscal year that we'll need to plan to budget for that or ask for it in capital funds. So it's not something that falls off the radar or nobody knows about in the future. We also had our annual Department of Labor building review. So this is something that already happens every year. During this review, they had requested that we provide documentation that there was no asbestos within the building. So there was a renovation done 25 years or so, and we had a letter from 25 years ago stating that there was no known asbestos within the building. We provided that, and we have provided that to them in the past, but they said for some reason that documentation is no longer sufficient, and they needed a whole review, an asbestos inspection done, a formal one. So that was approximately $7,500 that we paid, that we were required to do and have. So after that was completed, there was asbestos discovered, and it was discovered in the caulking around some of the doors, a door near the gym entrance and some door caulking near the custodial room. And it's right now it's non-friable, and it's not posing a safety risk for being there. So moving forward, though, we have to make a decision whether we remove or abate the asbestos, which is approximately $20,000, or we can leave it as is for now, and every 6 months complete an inspection to confirm that it's still not a safety risk, and it's not friable.
1 second, Shannon. I just would like to strongly enforce, as a superintendent with Shannon, and with Mike, our recommendation is to abate. We think in the long term, the monitoring is going to add up to more that than just the initial abatement, because we would have to consistently monitor and pay for the inspection and anything else that needs to happen if there is an abatement. But we do feel like we should just move forward with an abatement, and I would like to ask that be considered this evening. Sorry, Shannon, I wanted to put that forward.
That's okay. So like I was stating, so it'd be about $3,000 per year, $1,500 every 6 months to have them come out and inspect and make sure it's still non-friable. At the 3rd year mark, the inspection is more. It's $2,375. That would happen if we got to the 3-year mark. So that's something I would like to discuss. And then at the bottom of this memo, there are 2 proposed motions. One is to make some budget transfers within these cost centers, which would be moving $51,700 from special ed to support services, like I mentioned before. And then I would like to take $10,000 from the substitute line and $8,000 from the payroll line and move that to facilities to balance that budget. And then lastly, there's the vote to use additional school choice to offset the special education placement. But I mentioned before, I forgot to add in the $20,210 in that request as well. So if that is something that is voted on tonight, I would request a friendly amendment to that amount to include that.
And what would that amount be, Shannon?
It would be $151,210.
And that is for what?
That's for the 20,000 plus the 131.
Okay, yeah, choice. Yep. I'm gonna say one thing.
Yeah.
And then I'll go to you, Rachel. So one possibility, I talked to John Trickey. He said the town typically will cover these kinds of expenses But because they were a surprise, pardon?
Which expenses?
Facilities
Oh,
expenses,
okay.
things related to the building, but because these were not known, they've just hit us. So one possibility with the asbestos is that we could go through this year with just not doing the abatement and put it into the 27-28 budget request. So I just like to throw that possibility out there as well. So Rachel?
Shannon, I had a hard time following. I understood. Could we go back up to the report on page 2? Can you make it so that we're looking at one screen instead of both on there?
Unfortunately, I cannot because I have to watch the live stream to make sure that it's
Got it.
not broken.
Okay, I understood everything you were saying about the special ed line. Can you talk through the support services line? I was following until I saw the actual numbers. It was sounding like we were going to be in the green, but we're not in the green. Can you explain that again, please?
For the support services?
Yeah, just the
So-
support
Yeah,
services.
so there's so support services has the charter hitting there. It has the charter and choice. So the student had choice out of the district, and we had budgeted 51,000 within special ed. So you see the special ed has $62,000 sitting in there. I want to take that 51,000 that was for that student. I did this the cleanest way possible to make sure we're doing, that money, 51,000 of that 62 was for that student. I want to take 51,000 from there, do a budget transfer to support services, which would then put that line in the green. However, there are still expenses there that are going to hit from April to June. And so that's why I would like to request an additional of 20,000 to 10 to make sure that when we get to Q4, that line is still in the green, because we will then have moved and voted to have enough money within that bucket, which will cover that choice, that special education choice out student.
Why are we in the red on I'm still not understanding why we're in the red on support services right now.
Because so right now we have 105,000 that's been charged there. That's choice and charter. We know that the money for that one student that is in that choice assessment and support services is hitting that line, and it's going to continue to hit that line till June. We know that we had 51,000 in special education that was budgeted right there, and within that 62,000. So I want to move that money there. Does that make sense for the first part?
No.
So it's
I'm
red
still not-
because our expenses are
Why are our expenses so much more than we were anticipating? That's my question.
So we didn't know the student was going to choice out until last year at I think it was June of the last fiscal year. So the budget was already passed, and we had still had those funds in special education. Now we knew this year that the student was still going to be choiced out, but we hadn't moved those funds from special ed to support services. And now the cost for what that is going to be, it's around like 70,000 and some change for that student. So we didn't budget enough. We budgeted 51,000 in special ed at the time, but we didn't budget enough to know what their total cost was going to be when they choiced out.
Okay.
And so that's why we're asking for the additional 20,000. Then when I move that 51,000 out of special ed, just say for simple math, that budget will now be $2,000. But we were going to be voting to use to increase school choice funds of 131,000, which will then bring that budget back up and align it. So that budget will now be in the green to cover the student that choiced in, but then had to go to an out of district program.
Okay. My question was really just the very first part of what you were explaining. Dr. Z, it looked like you were saying something also, but was that all? what you
No,
were-
I was trying to get you to your question, but you guys got there.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not enjoying this again, so. Thank you.
Any other?
I was just gonna say, Dr. Z. We can see two screens of you, so there's half of the screen is real time and the other half is delayed. So that is what I think Rachel was commenting on, that it's just really weird, it's not actually. It's because we're seeing when we look up there, you're like 10 seconds delayed, but then you're also real time, it's very weird.
Can we not lower the YouTube feed? I'll handle it.
See that again?
This is like the best I can do. Cause I gotta be able to see that it's still there. Yeah, it hasn't timed out. Actually, I can do that.
My only comment was that there were a number of places in the memo where you talked about the fact that these facilities expenses were unexpected, and yet we can in a sense expect them because we have this aging infrastructure. And I'm wondering whether there is a like how we might address that in a future budget. We don't know exactly, like, I feel like for this inspection that ended up turning up the asbestos, I'm a little confused about why we didn't know that that expense was coming, because it sounds like every 5 years we have to have the sprinkler system inspected. But I guess I'm just wondering, like, is there a recommendation that around how we should think differently about the budget going forward in light of the fact that the building is aging and these things do come up?
Yes.
I will-
I
I wanted to,
Can I say?
you go first, Shannon.
Yeah, so Shannon and I talked about this, I also talked about it with John Trickey, and it turns out. And I think it's just, we've had so much turnover. In administration. At the school. In the last 5 years. That what Shannon has done now is started planning, capital planning. List of things. That will need to be done in the future. They could not find anything like that. For the past,
Okay,
so.
so we didn't know this 5-year inspection thing was coming up.
Well, we maybe did, but it wasn't written anywhere as we need to budget for this, at least that's my understanding, is.
Yeah.
Right, people.
So I wanted to say something, Jenny. It makes sense, but that certain things should happen in a certain way. I think that a couple things need to take into consideration here. Outside of leadership turnover, we also have where the team looked for adequate documentation and that documentation was not in place. So we have to actually determine what it is that, like, how do we adequately put documentation in places that the next team and next leaders can find it. We have the practice that Shannon talked about where they would have accepted the letter. That changed this year, where they were like, we're no longer accepting this letter, right? Because this is what has moved forward. And then also the thought process of we're in a good place because this has been done previously. We've never had anything come forward previously, and now here is the. Oh, sorry, the sun is setting over here in this parts. And now this comes up. I do feel like there's a couple of things to consider. The building is aging. We do have a capital plan, but there are unknowns that come up a lot quicker than what it is that we plan for. And that's the hardest part. And deferred maintenance, which Jenny, you should know, is a real thing in education, where when we're planning and looking for our budgets, a lot of the things that are hitting our operating, we may have put things in our capital, did not plan for it because we've kind of staggered it out. And yes, I would say we need to plan and look at the budget differently because we are still trying to appropriate funding, but our push for funding would be personnel versus looking at putting adequate amounts in facilities under expenses. So we kind of look more at funding our payroll lines and making sure we have the staffing, but we're not always looking at the expense lines, and that's where we're hitting right now with this. So our focus is keeping the school open and keeping it staffed. We should also think about keeping the school open and keeping it healthy.
And I just want to add a few things. So we did have a new capital draft book that'll be finalized at some point. We'll post it on the website, but that was not something that we had previously. In order for me to pull together or to just try to find some sort of capital plan, I found some things in a Google Drive document that referred to old projects. But then those projects did not align to what was actually approved. So I had to go back and find what was actually voted and approved. And so it's been a little bit messy. And so now I've got those things in one document in one place, a place that facilities and I both have access to, and we have the capital plan moving forward. So maybe somebody knew about the sprinkler thing, but we didn't know. But now we do know, and we'll add it and continue to monitor it. And then every year going forward, I anticipate we'll have this capital plan and we'll update it accordingly and bring it forth at the budget season.
Okay, thank you. Makes sense.
So we have these two motions, and I guess I still have the question. Do you want to pay for the abatement out of our money this year? Or do you want to put that into a request to the town next year?
Can we do the abatement and they reimburse us?
Pardon?
Can we do the abatement and they reimburse us?
What John said to me is they typically will fund these kind of inspections and things that have to be done for the building. So, William,
I was just gonna say, I'm assuming this abatement cost is gonna continue to rise. So if we wait a year, it's not gonna be 20,000 plus it's gonna be the money we spent. I would prefer to, as Dr. Z has said, do the abatement. I think that's the best thing for the kids and the health and all that. And then see if we could get reimbursed. But know that we might not get reimbursed, but I think it's the right thing to do. And I don't know if, as a school committee member, I would be like, no, I think we should leave the asbestos up for the children. I just don't know if I would like to say, even though they're saying it's not a health risk, it feels weird to then vote to continue having it here. That's just me, but I'm not a construction person, so maybe people with better construction knowledge might have a different take.
I don't do a big.
If only we had a construction person on the committee.
any other comments? Rachel?
I have one more question for Shannon. Do you have a sense of where we're gonna be ending the year in terms of, like, are we ending the year in the red and the green? Do you know that? Barring any wild unforeseen things.
That's a good question. Considering the meeting before, there are some fees that.
Yeah, barring that kind of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so I would have, I'm going to have a better idea in June. And the reason for that being is all of final purchase orders are due, or requisitions to be submitted are due May 15th. And then we're going to do a big overhaul on, okay, there's open purchase orders. What can we cancel? What's still going to be paid? And we'll have an idea of, like, all of the amounts in the encumbered columns. Are we actually paying those, or are we not paying those? So I will make sure that we are in the green. If there is additional money in order to make us be in the green needed, then I would have to come back to you all for that. But my goal is to ensure that we balance, and we'll be able to make that determination in June.
My input then is that we wait for that information and push not both votes, but the vote about the asbestos off until we have a fuller understanding where this.
Just to add to that, I could get or have Mike get the actual quote, so we have $2.
That also would be helpful.
Can we see how long the quote is good for?
in the same line, right, so, with the abatement, I'm assuming that we're not gonna wanna do it while the kids are in school, right?
Right.
We're gonna wait till the end of June. For that, so we have time to. I mean, it's a higher enough dollar figure that we'll need a few quotes for that, which won't happen yesterday. So I guess. Where I would be in favor of doing the abatement sooner rather than later. But I don't think this, like, by the time this abatement actually happens, we will have more information, we will be past that, May 15th date that Shannon was talking about, plus the time it's gonna take to get the quotes to do it, so I have no, I'm comfortable, what was it? I'm comfortable moving the money to transfer to make sure that we have the ability to happen and it can happen quickly when it's time to.
Can I just clarify?
Please.
What you're saying, Sarah Beth, my understanding also with the dollar number is we'll need 3 quotes before.
I think so, roughly. I don't remember.
We'll need 2 or 3 quotes likely. Shannon, is that correct?
Yes and no. So they raised the limit for school districts from 10,000 to 50,000 before it required
Okay.
3 quotes. However, I still like to do the 3 quotes because we want to make sure that we're getting the best value. So we will probably do 3, definitely 2.
Thank you.
So Sarah Beth, what you're saying is you would be in favor of doing both of these motions, which is going to put the money for the asbestos abatement in available, is that?
Yep.
I'm confused though, because it looks like we're moving 18,000 into facilities.
The language isn't here yet, she said, for the 20,000, it would be an additional 20,000 than what's listed, I think.
So so we have 2 options, we can modify something here, or we can do that at our June meeting, which is like the 2nd of June.
I would like to do what Sarah Beth suggested, just so that it's there, and if they can move it along so they can happen during the summer, that would be great, and I'm afraid if we are delayed, then it may get delayed and push it into the school year.
Okay, Shannon?
Oh, I was just going to say, if it ends up being in the summer, that's no longer the FY26 budget. That becomes the FY27 budget. So that would be paid out of there, unless there is a way for us to do it. I don't know if they work on the weekends or can do it when the students aren't there.
I was just
For
going
the
to
last 2 weeks of June.
So I'm gonna.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things that we need to take into consideration. This is a very rough time of year.
Yeah.
We've already asked for a Q4 update. However, know that in June, that's the end of year reporting and things need to start rolling over in terms of our fiscal and what we're reporting out. So I think ideally moving the funding now and then allowing for it to be executed when need be works. I think the conversation that can happen is that whatever the quotes are, we provide the committee with an update on next steps so that you are aware of who the selected individual is and what the cost of it was in terms of it, and then having them executed so that we can pay it out in a timely fashion so we're not hitting that late into June payroll and payout in terms of processing of services. Because we can start now, but I don't know how many, since I've been here, I haven't seen a lot of vendors that are like immediately available to start things. So we would have a schedule it so that the services are completed, we pay it out, and we've met that prior to June 30th. So those are the considerations we also need to put forth.
And if there was a vote to increase additional funds now, but we couldn't do it this year, doesn't mean that I would use those school choice funds.
I just want to make clear, asbestos abatement is like a 2-week, no one's in the building.
No.
No?
No, I've had it done in a day before.
Oh, I've never seen that in New York. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe it's different.
Well,
It depends on what you're reading.
Correct.
Got it. Okay,
This sounds to me like Aries.
okay, great,
Would take minimal time.
great, love that.
so Shannon, if we are going to modify this motion, it's going to be the second one, the additional school choice,
Correct.
and we are going to modify it to be 151,000. I thought I wrote the full number down.
151, 210, and that's the 131,000 for the school choice student, and then
Mhm.
that adds in the 20,210 for the choice assessment.
Okay,
That has, but it does not include anything with the abatement.
okay. Does anybody want to make a motion?
Okay, so the higher number does not include the abatement, so
Right,
then.
that's a separate motion.
There are two motions. One
Right.
is to, because we have cost centers, we as a school committee are the only people that can move money from
Yeah,
one
I
cost
get
center
that.
to the other one. So there's the first one that says increase. Special education. Alright, so I will move that the Pelham School Committee authorize budget transfers below as outlined with the Q3 report dated May 5th, 2026. From decrease cost center special education, increase support services, each by $51,700. Decrease substitutes by 10,000, decrease payroll by 8,000, and increase facilities by 18,000.
Second.
Any more discussion? No, all right, all those in favor? That motion passes by nothing.
And then I would make a motion, the Pelham School Committee votes to increase the FY 2026 budget for expenditures from the school choice revolving fund accounts by 151,210.
Second.
Okay, yes.
That includes the 131 plus the asbestos abatement, correct?
No, no.
No,
No,
No.
That's
asbestos abatement was already taken care of in the one I did.
Oh, so
This-
you already added
that's
the
it.
20,000?
That's what this 18 does
Okay.
to
No.
facility.
no, asbestos abatement is a separate motion.
Yeah.
It's not in either of these.
Correct.
1 second.
So how did we add the cost of abatement, the 20,210?
That's the additional
That's-
cost of that resident student who has special education needs. It's gone from 51,000 up another 20 something thousand.
72.
Okay.
You increased the facilities line by $18,000, giving us the opportunity to use our operating to go ahead and address the safety issue.
No.
Okay, so Shannon. So here's what I'm going to say. Then Shannon, I am confused because that was my understanding. So
Okay, no, we
clearly
had,
explain this.
right now, we had.
Three
to pay out-
motions from Shannon.
Just to understand the budget transfer piece, we transferred money to the facilities line to pay for the sprinkler inspection and the asbestos inspection to balance that for now.
Yes.
However, then the 20,000 for the abatement, it has nothing to do with that. If you wanted to us say it does get a quote, we get quotes and we move forward, we can get it done by June 30th. You can vote to use additional school choice money on top of the 151. And then if we can get the quotes and we can do it by June 30th, we will, and we'll have the money in order to do so and balance at the end of the year. If we get the quotes, but they can't do it, then we don't have to use the school.
So to be clear, then William, you need to amend because.
To 170.
Yes. Correct.
1,210.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
So I amend the motion for the amount to be removed from the choice revolving fund to be $171,210.
Yes.
No, Rachel has to agree to the
Do
amendment.
you agree to
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you, Rich.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor? That motion passes. Yeah, well, 131 is coming back.
Right. All right.
All right, thank you, Shannon.
Thank you.
All right, so. The next item.
All 4 bullying reports.
Pardon?
All 4 bullying reports.
So I'm gonna start off with the district review. I know, so here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna start with the district review update. And then I'm gonna hand it over to Colleen to talk about the bullying prevention implementation plan, and she can build in the BRIM report as she talks about it. I think that's the best flow for the team. Are you good with that?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so I submitted a memorandum just explaining the DESI district review. I was informed that the 3 districts as a collective will be going through a district review. I've also included in this memorandum the website that gives like all of the accountability and district review details from DESI. I did have a call with the DESI representative just to give some clarity for myself around the process, what can happen afterwards. There's no punitive consequences for good faith districts unless there's some serious misconduct or something that really comes up. That's illegal or something. I don't think we are. So that will lead us to any sanctions, but other than that, we should be fine. It's really for us to get feedback on the DESI indicators as to how we're functioning. This goes through a very thorough review of the entire district. They go over governance, they go over things like HR, instruction, there'll be classroom visitations. I did ask him, well, like what level should the liaison be? So his suggestion was, I was originally leaning towards putting it under compliance, having Miss Douglas be the contact. Her role would be to collect documentations and submit it to DESI, to the individual from AIR that's doing the review, to organize the meetings. So it'll be myself, her, Tanya McIntyre, and Megan Dushko who will be supporting. The next step, we have a orientation, I believe is June 9th or the 11th week. I'll sign up for the 9th. So we have the review orientation. After that orientation, you get to sign up for when it is you would like your district to take part. I am of the mindset that I would like the districts to take part earlier than later. I feel like if we do it earlier, we get the feedback earlier, we could plan more appropriately as as districts around what the feedback is, where we would like to go. So when those dates happen, I definitely will let everyone know if we were granted our early dates. I welcome the review. I welcome feedback. It's it's an opportunity for us to see how we're moving in comparison to other districts. In the conversation, I asked him what it could look like. He gave me some suggestions of other districts in Massachusetts that resemble our district that we could probably be reported in. So that's where I'm at with the district review. Hearing no questions. All right. So Colleen, I'm going to hand it over to you. I don't know if there were, but I'm going to hand it over to you because I think they want to hear more from you. One of the key things, this is the first Pelham meeting. I want to welcome Colleen Bogonovich. Ha! I got it right. Yes. I've been practicing. That's good. To you, she's our new mental health and student wellness. I always meant, but our new person in districts. She comes with a wealth of knowledge in policy, procedure, and social work. She's a licensed social worker. And so she's very passionate. She's hit the ground running. And I will hand it over to you so she can walk through the bullying prevention implementation plan update, but also to kind of touch on some of her observations on the BRIM reporting for Pelham.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Z, and thanks for having me. I know Sarah Bess and William from last week. Hi, nice to see you. The rest of you, I don't think I caught names at the beginning, so if you don't mind.
Answer.
I'm Jenny Bradbury.
And I'm Rachel.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Um, if you can't hear me, just yell out. I'm gonna try to share my screen. I don't use Zoom very often, so bear with me. Let's see. You would think after COVID, everybody should just be lickety split with
Tell me
sharing
what you want to
and
share and I'll
just
share it for you.
no, it's okay. I have like I merged the two. I merged the Pelham data with
Oh,
the
okay.
other presentation from the other night to try to make it easier, and sometimes it's not always easier. So let me see if I can do this. And then maybe if I present, it won't make me go away, but it might. Okay, I think it worked.
Perfect.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Wow. And I'm self-proclaimed like tech whiz, and it's embarrassing when this happens, but here we are. Just yell out if you can't see what you're supposed to see, and you can see something you're not supposed to see, which would be like, my notes or something. All right. So I have for you tonight the bullying and prevention intervention plan updates. If you don't mind just holding the questions for after, I'll try to breeze through because I know you had the meeting earlier, like at the beginning of the meeting, that maybe took some time. So I'll try to breeze through since some of you have heard it, and then you've had the documents for a while, and the plan for a while has been open for public comment and review. So I think most of you have probably had some time to digest the updates and have some comments that you'd like to convey over to our team, and I'm happy to accept them and provide feedback and answer questions like I did last week.
Excuse
Oh, is
me.
someone saying something? Yep, go
Yes.
ahead.
That document didn't get attached to the agenda, the one that you're showing that has the combined. What we have
Okay.
are the ones that were attached to the regional meeting, so.
Right there.
Is it?
Update on bullying, it's after the superintendent's update, it's the next thing.
Yeah, but
I
if you
know,
look at
but
the
it's
attachments,
documents.
we don't have that document.
Right.
So
This might just, you may have a version of it. I just happened to merge the
Yeah.
two,
The
your,
one from last Thursday.
okay, it's the same exact thing. I just merged the two slide decks with the Pelham update data and then the one from last Thursday.
All
So you
right.
have all the same information, just not,
yeah, so you have it separated. I think
yeah.
Colleen just
Yeah.
put it together today. Colleen, if you could just send that to me and I'll send it to the school committee.
Definitely. Yeah, I can definitely do that. Apologies. I realized that they were in separate formats and I was just trying to make it easier on your eyes and mine as well.
Yes,
From the not our meeting, yeah.
Yep. So I'm Colleen Bogdanovich, as Dr. D mentioned, and I'm the administrator of mental health and behavioral services for the districts. My background is in behavioral health systems level policy work. I've worked all over the country in different states and localities, and with federal, state, local levels. I've worked at the intersection of data and communities, both at the regulatory, statutory levels and aligning all of those things. And then this lens is really what helped inform the BPIP update and then kind of my work just largely as a whole. I come with a larger systems lens, as well as I bring my sort of community led and clinical and direct care experience to that as well. So tonight I'm going to present to you the April 2026 update of the BPIP and then the Pelham specific data. So as I move into the next couple slides here, just the agenda, the intro, which we just did, and then the BRIM data update. So the next couple, 3 slides will be the Pelham data that you have in that slide presentation, and that's just 3 slides. Then we'll go into the policy or the plan overview, which is just an explanation of the improvements and edits that have been made to the bullying prevention intervention plan, and then the implementation plan for those updates, and how that aligns with the larger social emotional learning plan and alignment that we have for the districts, and then next steps and any questions that you might have. So for Pelham Elementary, the BRIM data reporting period that we pulled for this was February 1st through March 31st. And we had 4 total reports filed during this period. And those 4 total reports are actually represent 2 distinct incidents. So 2 of those reports ended up being duplicate reports, which means that different individuals filed separately about the same event, which is actually a great sign that people are paying attention and using the system as it's intended. So once we remove those duplicates or close them out as duplicate reports, we have 1 confirmed bullying incident and then 1 closed as unfounded. And then 0 cases from this reporting period are still open or in progress. And then everything from these 2 incidents has been investigated, resolved, and followed up on, which is great. Both of those actionable incidents took place within the physical school spaces. One was in the gymnasium and then one was in the hallway. So split evenly between the 2 incidents. It's kind of an interesting pie chart. It's just 1 and 1, but 50%. And then the behaviors categorized were physical contact, name calling, and then in the confirmed case, intimidation as well. These are patterns we'd expect to see at the elementary level, and they were responded to directly by staff. And here's just a key takeaway slide from the 2 confirmed incidents, or 1 confirmed bullying and 1 other incident that ended up not constituting bullying by the definition. And a few things that I just want to make sure that land here with the group. First is that unfounded does not mean that the incident was ignored in any way. That case still resulted in nurse care, a counseling session, a principal meeting, and a parent notification for both involved parties. So the system worked here as it should have. The second thing is that the confirmed case got a full response, safety plans, increased supervision, counseling, family meetings, and a plan for restorative conversations. So this is all completed as well ahead of schedule, which is great. And then third, there were no cyberbullying, nothing online. And then I want to specifically call out that Pelham had named staff assigned in BRIM and is using all of the full detail fields. So this is something that came up last week, and you'll see in the full data that I'll present after these slides for the districts from 2025 is that oftentimes a lot of the fields are missing in our BRIM data, and specifically the assigned staff. So for these 2 specific incidents, granted it's a small sample size, but everything was there, which is really great, including investigation comments, interventions, locations, behaviors, student names. These fields were all populated. So Pelham is doing a great job modeling exactly the kind of accountability practice that we would love to see across all the districts.
Yay.
Yeah, yay, yeah, yes. So great job. Granted, it's very small sample size. We shouldn't draw any broad conclusions about 4 total reports and 2 incidents. However, it's probably a good indicator that staff are doing a great job consistently across the board and making sure that they're. Yes, go ahead, Marta.
This is Marta just intervening that this is historically what we've seen from Pelham. So I just want to attest that they really have done a great job. Mickey needs to be commended because that is our experience historically. So just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Historical context is really helpful. Thank you, Marta. So here we can move on to the districts-wide data that directly informed the BPIP update, and as well as a host of other information. But across 2025, we had 187, and this is for all schools across all 3 districts, 187 reports, and then 46 so far in 2026. So that indicates one thing for sure is that the system is being used, which is a positive that we want to make sure that we point out. Students and families are bringing concerns forward, definitely worth highlighting. In the majority of those cases, as I alluded to, the input field in BRIM for named investigator was left blank. That doesn't necessarily mean that nobody investigated it. It just means that the documentation wasn't there. So in a school where, the investigator is always the same, they may, that may indicate, well, I don't need to put my name there because I always know it's me. However, from a data and oversight and compliance perspective, it makes it difficult to kind of peek in and know that something is being done. So in terms of implementation and fidelity and sustainability over time and, data collection, that's something that is a gap that, we would like to make sure that we fill across the board. Because, if we're not producing consistent documentation, we can't really expect to produce consistent outcomes. And we want to make sure that we close that gap. So in addition to the quantitative data, we also pulled and reviewed an incredible amount of research and qualitative data throughout the update process. But when looking at everything, the same question kind of kept surfacing as to why outcomes may still have been inconsistent across the different buildings in the districts. And there were three main processes that were conducted. One of them was the statutory review. The other was the working group process, and the other was the alignment analysis. So each kind of came at that question from a different direction, and we all kind of reached the same answer through all these different processes, was that the plan described what should happen, but it didn't specify the system to make it happen consistently enough across the districts. So that's really what these updates are designed to fix in this 2026 update to the BPEP. So the working group that I mentioned was convened across 2 distinct sessions. It was comprised of students, families, staff, law enforcement, and community behavioral health providers. Their feedback was specific and consistent across all the groups, and they produced 5 key themes. Every single one of them is addressed in the in this draft. And they are trust and safety as barriers to reporting. They're essential barriers. Inconsistency across buildings, unclear process for families in reporting, that there were significant equity gaps for vulnerable students with either disabilities. Oops, sorry, my internet just said I had bad connection, but hopefully that didn't actually happen. And then there was insufficient follow-up in the communication process. So what I want to highlight is that the working group's lived experience feedback and our technical alignment pointed to the same underlying gaps, but they work through completely different pathways. And that sort of convergence provides confidence that we are actually addressing the appropriate things here. So here I'll get into the revisions themselves. So every revision in the draft is traceable either back to a working group theme, a statutory alignment gap, or both of those things. I've made it that visible in this table as well as in the handout, which I believe I saw was attached in board docs. It's a summary of revisions, I think, or summary of changes, I think it's titled. So just so that folks can see the logic and the justification behind each decision. But just to point out one thing in section Roman numeral VI is 6, the training and professional development. So the biggest substantive addition in the explicit SEL, the social emotional learning framework in our professional development, the old plan referenced skill building and the new plan actually embeds it into the plan. So the CASEL, the 5 competencies, that comes directly from DESI guidance, and that is now mandatory language throughout the entire plan. And that change responds directly to what the working group told us, which is that staff don't have a consistent framework for preventing bullying in the buildings. And that was a substantial gap. And then another thing to kind of point out here from section 9 and the investigation protocols. So we corrected a legal error in the investigation trigger. The old language only required investigation when the principal had already substantiated a report. And that was actually a little bit backwards. So the new language requires investigation of all reports, not just ones that end up being bullying. And here I just want to address the timeline question directly. And I do have a whole list of feedback, and I'll get to this in a few slides, but we have a list of feedback from the community, the public review comments, and as well as from the meeting last week too. So, like a sort of a running list of all the feedback. So some of this is a little bit antiquated in terms of, what we're already addressing with the revisions for the final draft, but just to address with this new group here tonight, with this committee, the timeline. We know it's a sensitive topic and it's something that has been addressed historically throughout the districts, but Massachusetts law requires investigations to be conducted promptly, and that word is intentional and not designed to be used vaguely. The legislature chose it because the timeline for a complex investigation involving students with either disabilities, multiple parties, or off-campus digital conduct and cyberbullying cases is fundamentally different from a straightforward single incident case. A hard deadline, even though if it's well-intentioned, can sometimes end up forcing premature closure of an investigation, which can have an unintended consequence in creating the appearance of a resolution, and that doesn't always protect students' safety. Things that we know create accountability is knowing who owns the case from when the report comes in day one. Our BRIM data showed us that the majority of cases, no investigator was named in the record, and that's an accountability gap. So the implementation plan addresses that directly. So we have a named assignment at intake, documented extensions when needed, family communication throughout, and then follow-up requirements. So I really would like to give the committees and the community and students, real accountability metrics, who was assigned, when they acted, what the outcome was, whether the family was kept informed, rather than check a box that says the case was closed on day 10 and that doesn't have anybody's name on it that we're able to follow up with and hold folks accountable, and ensure that appropriate steps were taken. So one of the things I'm most committed to in this role is making sure that we're not creating parallel systems that don't talk to one another. Interoperability is a word that I probably overuse and annoy people with. But the, system's ability to speak to one another and communicate and align across the different platforms is very important, especially when we have three separate districts, lots of different schools, a very diverse community. The BPIP and the district's social emotional learning implementation work plan are designed as a unified system. So one thing informs the other, which informs the other, and everything is sort of a giant web that should be aligned. And it is here. So the updated BPIP now requires that our professional development content be grounded in the CASEL's 5 core domains. The same framework that the social emotional learning work plan is being built on. And that means when we train staff on bullying prevention, the staff themselves are building the same skills that we're asking them to then teach students. The SEL work plan is currently in its exploration phase. So that's the first phase. As findings are coming in, they'll directly inform how we implement this policy at the building level. So we are, as soon as we have an adopted, finalized BPIP, we are in phase 1, which is beginning soon. And that's the foundation. It's by no means the finish line. I'm going to walk you through what happens the moment that it's adopted. So it will go on the website. It's going to go into staff handbooks. Principals will confirm, or building administrators confirm receipt, and that's the statutory notice requirement. The next phase involves, this is the most operationally significant phase. We train all the administrators and counselors on BRIM usage protocols. And this happens before school ends this year to make sure that everybody's in alignment. We know there's a lot of changes. We want to make sure that we are doing this early on, and before people are, saying see you later for the summer. This includes correct status categories, intake assignment, and behavior logging. The investigation checklist gets distributed and walked through with building principals. This is where the accountability gap in the data actually starts to close a little bit. And then phase 3 statutorily needs to occur before September. So in the PD schedule before school starts. Student and family handbooks are updated. A one-page reporting flow for each building is distributed internally and then made available publicly on our website. And then annually, a written notice to families in prevalent languages also goes out publicly. And then phase 4, which happens over the summer as well, the implementation is integrated into next year's professional development calendar. The SEL alignment is applied to prevention programming, and then the individual building SEL leads are identified. So that all sort of is informed by the SEL alignment that is still under development and is in, like I said, the exploration phase. But a lot of that is happening over the summer for the 26-27 school year. Going forward, each of the 3 school committees will receive the BRIM data presentations on a consistent format for their schools, implementation progress updates at each phase milestone, and an annual BPIP review. So once we have detailed investigation checklists and BRIM usage protocols developed and internally approved, we'll bring them before the committees as well. So you won't have to ask for that information. It will be brought to you. And in terms of next steps, the public comment period has ended as of last Friday. So written comments were accepted. And then any substantive feedback, which we've collected and is being reviewed now, will be incorporated before the plan is formally adopted into its final version. And then again, this is not just a routine compliance exercise. It's a substantive improvement to a plan that was, technically it was compliant, but structurally it needed to be aligned. And then it's grounded in what the community told us, in DESI guidance, in CASEL standards, and then in what the data showed us about where implementation has broken down. It is designed to be implemented with fidelity and sustained over time. I'm confident in this, and I'm confident in the districts and in everybody's the conversations that I've had with folks about the need for this to occur. So I'm excited to work with everybody, and everyone's been wonderful and welcoming. So happy to be here. Now I'm glad to take questions. I'll stop sharing.
You calling, Lily?
So I just wanted one clarifying thing.
Yeah.
We have joint meetings on May 20th and July 10th. June 10th, sorry, June 10th and May 20th. When is our plan to formally adopt this?
That's a great question, William.
So, William,
We only have those 2 choices, so.
no, but I need clarity because I don't think within the scope of the law, it has to be approved by the school committee. So I need clarity on that, and so I was gonna reach out to find that, to finalize that, because I know the last time it was formally adopted, but based on the law, we have to do like the public feedback period and everything else, and then we are able to go ahead and adopt it. So that's the part that I think clarification needs to be on.
So just to clarify, the last time the BPIP was done, it was the previous administration.
Okay.
And I think we say that, yes, no, okay. We gave feedback as a school committee. We had a lot of questions because it wasn't going to be aligning with the policy that we were pushing forward. It was pushed forward without approval from the school committee. which I feel like has led us into some of these gray areas over the last 2 years. So I hope that we decide that we're all gonna give it the thumbs up, however that looks.
So
I would ask for that, is what I'm asking for, I guess.
So I think I hear you. And I don't think that we've ever said that we wouldn't share it with the school committee in terms of like what we're doing. I think we're in that feedback scope and state. But I also know like in terms of a formal approval, that's not required. So I think that that's where the disconnect comes in. A formal approval is not required, but we are sharing it. We are giving feedback. We are walking through the process in it. That's why we brought it forth. But and I'll clarify it. We don't need a formal vote to implement, but that's not how we've been operating.
And then I gave feedback already to the region. Do I need to give feedback, that same feedback tonight?
No, not unless it's changed.
It has not changed.
No,
You might
it
have a
hasn't
Pelham,
changed.
you have a Pelham lens, so it might change.
But-
No.
I would say that as we're continuing with welcoming schools. I would suggest that we coordinate with welcoming schools to see if there can be any training. That would then also help with this BPEP plan and the social emotional learning. I would reach out to welcoming schools and see if their materials or their training can be tweaked, so it helps you build better training that fits for our districts.
So I have before I know Colleen is documenting. She's a yes, take feedback. But I have I guess I have some concerns, so I'll work it out with Colleen and see what her perception is. You don't have to answer now, Colleen, but I do have some concerns because the training on the plan is training on how to implement the plan and move the plan forward. But you're asking about content in support of the plan.
I wasn't talking about training of the plan, I apologize. I was talking about the social emotional learning PD that's been mentioned in the plan.
Okay.
Not training of the plan, but just, I know that PD time is precious and you know, we need to use it as best as we can. So I would just say, you know, instead of allowing welcoming schools just to do what they want to do, I know they're very flexible. We're a very large district for them to do this work. And so I would say proactively talk to them and let them know exactly what we need help with and what we need, so that the training can be modified to best help you with fulfilling the BPEP.
Okay,
And
I
it's
was
almost
confused. I thought it was training on the
training.
plan. Thank you for
No, sorry.
clarifying. I was confused. Okay.
Thank you, William. That's helpful. And that's all on my radar. And I have I'm the contact person now for that grant, and it's on the brain trust.
If you have any need to connect with HRC or any issues, let Dr. Z know to then let me know.
Okay. Sounds good.
Sarah Best.
I just want to say how much I appreciate that Pelham is modeling the accountability standard. I am really glad to hear that. I definitely gave some feedback at the regional level where I was appalled that people are not writing their name on their work. And so thank you to Mickey and her team for like really like doing the follow-up that's needed to make sure kids and families are heard and feeling safe. So thank you.
I see nodding heads agreeing, so yes, thank you very much, Mickey, for modeling that for everyone.
Yeah, I just echoing that and saying, I think one of the things that, we'll get there eventually, but in the school futures conversations that I'm having, one of the things I keep hearing that makes so unique is the restorative model of relational engagement that the school has. It's not just when there's a crisis, it's an entire school approach, and yeah, just want to applaud and recognize that and be able to share more as we go.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for Colleen for being here tonight and welcome to
Thank you.
Pelham.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you, Colleen. Colleen, can you email that over so I could attach it on board docs at one time?
Yes, doing that now. Thank you.
Thank you.
We are at relabeling. No, superintendent evaluation.
Yes, okay, I have asked Sarah Bess if she would present this for us.
Yes. I will.
Okay,
I lost mine.
while you're looking for it, I'm just going to say how much I appreciate the work, because I've looked at this and I actually watched the regional meeting as well. How much I appreciate having done this many years. The work that went into this, it just looks like something that will be so much easier to do.
That was Jadera, I heard to put it all together, so
Yes.
give a big round of applause and thanks to Jadera.
To Jadera, because she is the mastermind that like knows how to make all these things work together. Oh, what did I have to do, Seth? So I could share this?
So if you join the Zoom,
Oh. Okay.
Or, I mean, the Dr. Z can just share it on the, right?
She can't.
Okay.
I can from my folder.
Oh, you're doing what I asked. You're showing us that.
Yes.
Great,
Yes.
Sarah Beth, do you want me to log into my folder, my employee?
No, I'm
Go
good.
ahead.
I just need, it's just gonna take me a second to like do all the things.
What? So I was looking under goal 3, you know, each goal. there's
Yeah,
like
we're
three
reading
sections.
There are some typos, but they were going to correct that, so.
There's
Okay.
also something missing in goal 3,
Okay.
but we'll get.
Okay. Probably gonna show on the actual one.
Yeah, okay.
I also cannot do this
Oh,
and take
hey.
notes at the same time, so somebody else is gonna have to do that.
I can take notes while you're talking and.
Thank you. Okay,
Give me 1 second.
yeah,
Before.
that's a problem. This is gonna take a minute.
Maybe have 2 seconds. There you go.
I'm like really not confident in what I'm doing right now, friends, so. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm ready. Whenever anybody else is. Okay.
Okay.
So we had this conversation about the superintendent evaluation tool in January. And the feedback from that meeting was to define and incorporate some more when we got to proficient, meet, exceed, all those. Okay, so the way it's going to work is so we are using Perform, which is part of Power School. It is the same that all administrators are using to do their evaluations for the district. The way it works is you do all your evaluations and then it goes directly to the personnel file of the person, so it is super easy record keeping. Okay. So what happens, I think this is the right one. So for example, goal 1, this is the goal that this is what happened, and then this line right here that will not highlight, but this like little box right here is going to include the narrative that Dr. Z is going to write. There's nothing there, so there's obviously nothing there for this, right? And then this is where we the school committee members will write their narrative And then this is what was requested at that last meeting, so meet exceed significant progress and did not meet. So those are all the radial bars, the same. For goal 2, this little line will be where the right turn narrative. Blah, 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 moving forward. So as I said before, Jadira was the one, and she is the perform guru. She has offered to sit with anyone if they would like to go through the form about completing it. I'm also happy to sit down with anyone if that is helpful. Goal 4, the same. The professional standards that we chose, I believe all of this narrative was all part of the document from January. I don't think that that updated. This standard 1, this tiny little line will be Dr. Z's comments. Continuing going down, what will also happen is down, this is the bottom, the artifacts that Dr. Zia will collect and present will all get attached at the bottom. Unfortunately, there was no way to attach them specifically to the goal. We even reached out to Perform/Power School and they said no thank you. So we have worked with Dr. Z that each document will be, the name will say exactly what it is in support of. So then also you can, on this side over here, there is, this one pulls pulls up the rubric. If you open this up on a larger screen that is more than my teeny tiny little laptop, this will also, these will not be like words/half words on the side, but this is from DESE, this is their standard that's over here. So you do have place to have all of the information at the same time. There are also over here, this little pencil guy, you can take notes and take in here.
Is that for oneself or for Sharon?
For oneself. Okay. Yeah, what gets saved is in these boxes over here.
So you can write there and put it up there when you're ready.
Yes,
That's the idea.
there was, this is like if during the course of whatever you want to like make a little note to yourself, ooh, I don't want to forget this is where you can do that because they are to your own account. They are not part of the final document that gets saved. Then, excuse me, the other piece that was suggested by Tim, who works in systems like this all the time, is to do your work outside of it and then upload it and save it. Because it would be really super sad to have like written all of your feedback and then be like, surprise, just kidding, we didn't save anything. So nobody wants that.
For the artifacts, I'm noticing there's only like 3.
You can add more.
Okay.
This is just what it has now. As Dr. Z adds it, there will be more spaces to add.
Will there be, so there could be multiple documents per goal?
Yes.
Okay. But they'll all be labeled accordingly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
They'll
so
be here and in Google folders or just here?
I believe just here we talked about Dr. Z. Do you remember? I believe we talked about having them just be in here.
Probably good to have that.
I'm just
sure
wondering how
Dr.
organized they will be.
Z has them wherever they need to be.
Right, yeah.
We will have them attached here and that will be that. This will be the only.
So the one thing I noticed on the printout version that was attached is that it looks like under.
The printout does not print well. Like I just printed my screen.
Well, it looks like under goal 3, it says the first one talks about the goal 3 is Pelham Elementary. Then it says goal 3 evaluators narrative, goals and standards, and then goal 3 district improvement goal. And that copies over the language about the Amherst restructuring. not the language about Pelham.
You're talking about goal 3
Mhm.
and what about it?
If you look at the third, the part where, right there, it, on the printout, it's the goal that the language talks about the Amherst restructuring. But goal 3 is supposed to be about Pelham.
Yeah, it says. So this, we're not looking at that.
I don't know if it's been updated.
It may have been corrected and updated.
Okay.
That was printed before.
Okay.
This is the actual.
Alright, cool. I just wanna make sure that it's the right goal in all 3 sections of goal
This-
3.
We're up to goal 2. Right, it says. Goal 3, conduct focused program review for the Pelham Elementary School, engaging families,
Yeah, and
community
then there's a
partners,
box for
blah,
Dr.
blah,
Z.
blah.
Then there's the next section. Which looks fine, and then there's a third section above the rubric, and on the printout version, that has language about the Amherst restructuring, not about Pelham Elementary. It was already
What I'm
corrected.
telling you is
Okay.
that it's already
It's
been
already
corrected.
fixed.
Then
Okay.
I am in Perform right now
Okay.
showing you it, the
Just wanted to
printout
make
is-
sure it's been fixed.
My question about attachments, just as I remember there were so many attachments
Yeah.
and like folders under folders under folders. I am happy to approve this. I am just wondering, as we get closer to actually having all those artifacts, how they'll all be organized. It looks like Dr. Z's hands up, so maybe she's ready to go. Thanks.
Yeah, Dr. Z.
The plan was, and I think Sarah said this, to organize by goal, in the attachments and just have it and just put it like, so the attachment will probably have 4 attachments, so say goal 3. And
Okay.
then you'll see just the evidence there based on where I think what I can provide. My statement was that, I believe at the May 20th joint meeting, we'll be thinking about, the 2026-27 goals. And I just would like to know if there's any specific feedback. I feel like in the last meeting, I know I wasn't here, but I did get the feedback that the committee did not want to update the goal to that I had suggested. And is there any specific feedback? Because I am being very honest, I feel like that goal tied to the work that's currently happening, especially like there is the Pelham Futures School Committee, a lot of the program review and those types of things, but the committee thought otherwise. So is there something that the committee is thinking? If not, then I would just develop my goals on my own. I just wanted to prompt on, while you're finishing this part, if there's some feedback, you can email me about the next iteration of goals.
You're asking Dr. Z about goals for next year.
Yeah, I answered the question about this, but I'm saying that I am going to ask, and I don't know if that comes towards the end, but if the school committee can send me any thoughts you have, because I have 2 weeks to present to write 26-27 goals.
Yep.
So if we have thoughts about the goals for 26-27, you would like us to send them to you soon.
Yes, please.
My recollection from the meeting that she's referencing is that we said that we did not want to accept the change that she was suggesting to this year's goals, because we felt like this year's goal was fine, but that we felt like the suggested change was something that made sense for next year's goal.
That's what I remember too.
Okay. So. We have to vote, we do, to accept this.
I hold on. Do I have? I actually would read these last time. Just a minute. I'll move to approve the 25-26 school year. Approve the, oh my gosh. Well, as presented. the superintendent evaluation tool as presented.
Second.
Any discussion before we vote? No. Okay, all those in favor? It passes unanimously 5-0. Thank you, Sarah Bess, for doing that. All right, William, it's your turn.
Yes, I just hope my computer stays alive for the rest of this meeting.
Okay, 1 second.
Yeah.
Get out of all the Zoom things and then I can. Alright,
So this is all the information I'm going to share or talk about is all in board docs. Do I have to zoom in and share this on the screen?
Everybody's saying no.
Okay, I just want to make sure publicly,
do we want it to be publicly? I can,
I'm just asking, because it's on board docs.
Yeah.
But I don't know,
if you're.
do we have other people
give-
watching our meeting or is it like even video or?
If you give me 1 second, I'll log back in and do it. No, it's fine. If Rachel doesn't mind, keep taking notes. I just can't do.
Doing my best.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not allowed to do this at work, you're not allowed to take notes, because they don't do a good job. But I'm just like,
I have full faith here. Full confidence.
Oh.
I mean, you've seen mine before.
I have seen yours, I have seen yours.
Alright, so just give me 1 second. I will log back in and I will. You are a panelist. Okay.
Seth, did you see if people are watching? No.
Yes, we have one person
All the recording, so.
One person?
besides me. Maybe two. I don't know if YouTube counts me or not.
I
Yes.
just, if you give me 1 second, I will apparently not remember how to do this from 10 seconds.
I couldn't do this, so.
Glad you said something.
Okay,
My neighbor might have fire, I think the charge will. It's a Pelham meeting, it's quick.
it's a lot, what flavor of?
Oh, no, it's fine, I'm still good with stuff.
Oh, okay, they're not even yellow yet.
Mine was probably blue.
Oh, you're amazing, yeah, 'cause mine's an older Mac, it's not, maybe it's the same Mac as mine. Oh, it will, okay, so we can share. We can share.
Is that you?
That's fine,
Line up.
I guess whatever.
Design incentivizes to move.
Oh, okay.
Alright,
They're magnets now for apples, but mine's an older apple, so we'll keep it quick.
I move to relabel
Oh,
policy GBEB fingerprinting to policy ADDA fingerprinting.
Can you copy that motion from your other notes, or do I need to write that?
No, that's fine, just like if you write GBEB to ADDA.
One more time.
and I second.
I can copy it from this.
Yeah, you
Hang
got
on,
it
hang
from
on a second. Give me a minute.
I watched the regional meeting and you guys with all your initials. it got
Oh my
me
gosh,
confused.
I started laughing.
To ADDA.
I'll try not to laugh so much at this meeting.
Alright. All
So-
we're doing is relabeling.
So this is, just to explain what's happening is, we are redoing ADDA. At May 20th. And also introducing ADDAR. But because tonight we're adopting a policy that is labeled GBEB. We needed to move this temporarily. And before we then update it. So we're not changing the policy right now. We're just moving it from GBEB over to ADDA to align better with the organization for this policy manual that MASC says.
Second.
All those in favor?
Easiest code of the
And
year.
for the note taking, we found out that it was easier for the region to have the same people move the motions.
Great.
So then for note taking was just.
Yeah.
streamlined.
Was that I moved it and William seconded it?
Oh,
Is that what happened, is that the first one?
I don't know.
She seconded it.
I thought I seconded it.
She
Oh,
seconded
I don't know. Okay. I can change that, but I.
No.
That's not what I thought.
Excellent.
So-
Write it down,
So
so.
go.
We have,
I don't, you two do it because she's trying to take.
Great.
Okay, that's fine. So we have a whole bunch of second reads. The first one we're looking at is GCK. So I'll make a motion to accept or to adopt policy GCK as presented.
Second. All those in favor? Passes 5-0.
The next policy is GDO. Evaluation of support staff.
Can I ask one question? I'm assuming on these second reads, is it, if there's anything of note that's different from the first read, you will tell us, or are they all exactly as the first read?
They're all pretty much as the first read. I think there was maybe a couple of tweaks to like spelling or. I think we had a member from the region point out a few different little things and we
Okay.
tweaked those, so there was
Okay.
no
All right.
major revisions on any of these.
Okay.
And we had the first reads in
Okay.
January, so it was a
Okay.
while ago.
Right, thank you.
So I make a motion to accept policy GDO as presented.
Second. All those in favor? Passes unanimously.
The next one is policy GCQF. Suspension and dismissal of employees. And I made this note for the region, I'll make it again. So all of these policies that we're looking at right now are all policies we've never had. It does not mean that it was not what we were practicing as a district, it was just not codified in policy, so we're codifying them in policy. But they're not making HR change what they did, or
Okay,
are doing.
right.
So I make a motion to accept policy GCQF as presented.
Second. All those in favor? Approved unanimously.
The next policy is GCO, evaluation of professional staff. So I would move that we accept policy GCO as presented.
Second. All those in favor? It's unanimous approval.
The next policy is GCBB. Employment of principals and administrators. So I would move that we accept policy GCBB as presented.
Second. All those in favor? Passes unanimously.
The next policy is GBGC, staff health and physical examinations. And I would move that we accept policy GBGC as presented.
All those, second. All those in favor? Passes unanimously.
The next policy is GBJ, personnel records. I would move that we accept policy GBJ as presented.
Second. All those in favor? Passes unanimously.
The next policy is GBEB, staff conduct. I would move that we accept policy GBEB as presented.
Second. All those in favor? Accepted unanimous.
The next policy is GBEE, personal use of technology. I would move that we accept policy GBEE as presented.
Second. All those in favor? Accepted unanimously.
The next policy is ADC, tobacco and marijuana products on school premises is prohibited.
Second.
No, so I would move to, I would move to adopt policy ADC as presented.
Still second. All those in favor? This is unanimously.
So now we're going to move on to the first reads.
William, does your list
Yes,
under agenda items
yes,
match your attachments?
yes.
Not in the same order, but
In
they're
the
all
same order,
in the
too.
same order. They're not all in the same order. They were, and
I
then they
think
weren't.
there's some
There's
who are
one,
here.
there's one that
Oh,
has.
like A is at the bottom. It's fine, I just wanna make sure they're all there. They're all the same.
Oh, they're not in the same order as in the,
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
gotcha, we went through in the order of the attachment.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to just get sure. Thank.
oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's really not a problem, I just want to.
When I attached them, I did not put them in alphabetical order, I apologize. We had to do it in 2 places.
It's a lot
On
of,
the Pelham website too.
it's a lot of letters, and so it
Yeah.
gets a little complicated.
Yep.
I was hopeful you can copy and paste it from the regional meeting. Yeah.
You can trade that.
To my town government?
Oh, no, I don't know anything about my town government. I know.
You have to do them, yeah.
Yeah, my town government looks real old.
So policies for first review. So we reviewed these at the region and at Amherst. And so I do have some notes from these.
Okay.
So the first one we will look at tonight is, because I'm gonna go just in the same order as posted, is BE. So we currently have a policy, I think it's BEC. BEA, that kind of constraints the way we actually practice our school committee. And so there was some confusion around that, and so we decided as policy to investigate it. This policy BE has not been sent to council because it is really only affecting us. But it is directly word for word taken from MASC. And so we decided as a policy team that it didn't need to go to council. And we were trying to open up the ability to have meetings and to conduct business as needed. And not be confined to the
Yeah.
policy the way it was written.
There's a lot more text in BEA.
Yes.
Yeah.
The intent is for this to replace BE.
Yeah.
And then there were some feelings on this at the region. Next year, just in full disclosure, if I'm still on the policy team and still chair, we're going to be going through all policy Bs. So I recommended that we adopt this for now, and we can always revisit it next year. But that the current policy is not what we practice. And so it was best if we went ahead and change this, and if we wanted to have more conversations about it, we could next year, because we're gonna be going over all of the whole section Bs.
Was that recommended, was that recommendation accepted?
I believe so, but it was only a first read,
It was
so.
Oh, right. I will say it was a first read. This is slated to come back at our May 20th
Okay.
joint meeting. I will say I am in favor of policy BE as it's written. Some of the things that have come up at other committee meetings are, the concern that the public isn't informed about when we're meeting. However, school committee meeting is a business meeting that is held in public. Our job is to conduct the business of the school, and open meeting law dictates how those things need to be posted and the amount of time and how, outside of 48 hours. I'm sorry. So I think in all of I've been a school committee member for almost 7 years now, and I think we've had 2 emergency meetings, potentially 3, and one of them was like I had to emergency add something to a meeting that was already posted. So those meetings that, emergency meetings by open meeting law are things that happen less than 48 hours in advance. I think it is important that the school committee be able to operate, with what's dictated by open meeting law. And we have we have a lot of things we're trying to do, and if we have meetings that last, which is not always a Pelham thing, but like if we have meetings that last 6 hours after you've already gone to work all day and then have to get up and go to work again the next day, you're not very good at anything you're trying to do. So sometimes we need the flexibility to be able to do that, and as long as we're posting legally, I think we need to have the flexibility to do the work we need to do.
Something I would add, oh, sorry.
Sorry, I just wanna clarify, just the very beginning, you said you were in favor of the policy, this new
The
policy.
as it is
Policy.
currently written, yes.
And something that the old policy would not allow us to do would be the joint meetings that we have with policy with all three districts. They're not on the Pelham calendar. They may or may not be on the regional calendar, like the regularly scheduled dates. So like this last one we had was on a Thursday, so we would not have been able to actually make any decisions based on our old policy. And that really, like, it's helpful for us to have the strategic plan, for us to have, different times where we all come together. And those would not be on a regularly, timeline. So I am very much in favor of BE, and I think it's very important for us to be able to have BE and continue the work that we're doing.
Also, on for district alignment
Yes,
across the district.
yes.
Would help if I plugged it in.
Oh, that does help when trying to think.
Well, I plugged it in there and there, I didn't do it in.
In the middle.
So we will be taking all this feedback back to policy, and we'll have a meeting prior to our second meeting.
Okay,
Any other comments on this policy BE?
yes, I need one else to be able to say. Yeah. Here's the really impressed with how well I'm taking notes.
I'm thinking about our hearing and how. Where that might interact with clarification or not with this policy,
So someone asked us to define forms,
okay?
and so that is feedback that we're going to take back and see about working into this policy.
And the budget hearing, there's actually a policy specifically for the budget hearing, correct?
There is,
This
yes.
is not
Yeah, I was talking about
the form.
forms. Thank you.
Someone asked us to define forms,
That would be helpful,
so
yes.
we will look if that needs to be in another policy or if it'll be in this policy.
Okay, good, that's good,
That was the question we had.
all right. Anything else?
So the next one we'll look at is GBEA.
Do we
Staff.
need to pass it first?
No,
No.
this is the first reading.
Great, thank you.
This is staff ethics and conflict of interest. And there was just a couple of things we had to define. One was we had to add and to the last paragraph. So it should be all employees and school committee members, not including, so we were gonna take that back, that feedback back. And then it has in here reasonable person, and so there was a question about what that is, so we may decide to.
Do something about
Yeah.
it, what that is the person.
That makes, I guess.
Okay. Any questions? Sorry.
I'm just, oh, no, I get it.
Okay. And we will go on to the last one.
And these two, except for BE, these two policies have gone to legal counsel and have been reviewed, and then their updates and we were worked into here.
Okay,
It was just
Great.
EE, because we felt like it was just about us.
okay,
We didn't send. Okay, and the last one we're looking at is GCJ, professional teacher status. And this one had some big feelings, and when we first presented this to legal counsel, we had wanted there to be a little bit, so currently, I think the superintendent may award professional teacher status as long as they've had 1 year. we really wanted to eliminate that. It cannot be eliminated.
Yeah.
It is what it is. That is the legal law. And I can't remember if it is the superintendent has the right and we can't take that right away, or if it's the staff that have the right to that and we can't take it away. But something, I think it's staff, that we cannot override that.
Yeah.
So I am going to ask legal counsel to explain it to me the why not, because the region wants to understand the why not a little bit more than what I was able to describe.
So, was there something that just came out from Desi about an update regarding this?
I will look, I don't know.
I'm thinking that I saw it in one of the emails.
By Desi?
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
I don't know if it was the listserv that, you know, Tracy Novick put stuff in from time to time, or if it was something that came out in the commissioner's report.
I will look.
Every week.
So this was just sent to council in December/January.
Okay, you know
So
what
council, looked at this at that time, but then they haven't looked at it since January. before.
it also could have been teacher certification. Maybe it was teacher certification, but.
I will look and you can look.
Oh,
let me
I
know.
think it is teacher certification. Yeah.
Okay.
So that.
Oh, it is teacher
That
certification,
would be
because I think they have decided to relax some of the
Yes.
rules. It's
Yes.
teacher certification.
Yeah, okay,
Which I don't think we have a policy about that. Maybe we do.
okay, so that's not relevant for you.
No.
Okay, okay.
Any other questions on this policy?
Are you saying that this policy can't stand?
No, I'm saying this policy can.
Right, to make.
What people wanted
I
it to be, we can't. So people really wanted to be able to say you can't earn your professional status until you've had 3 years or 2 years, whatever that time frame is, and we cannot actually do that. We have to leave it as after 1 year, the superintendent could do that.
Doesn't this say 3 years?
The superintendent may award professional teacher status, and number one. That who has served at least 1 year in the district.
Got it. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so you're gonna get an explanation and come back.
Correct, before the second read, and I believe that we are going to do this. The second read all together with all 3 districts, it all works well.
Sure, yes, yes.
I can't speak for Amherst, so. Or the region, but hopefully we will do it all together the next one, and then I'll have the best answer I can for that.
Okay.
It's more
Great,
filling than my answer.
thank you, William. All right, we're getting close,
And I did give the update to the other group that next year our plan is to be looking at I don't know why it's not in here.
Section.
Look, section B,
Yeah.
and then it's the section after that, which why it's not coming up for me, I don't know. Then we'll be looking at section C.
Okay.
So those 2 sections next year. And as we noted, we need to make one more motion that these policies that we adopted tonight we will not take, will take effect July 1 of 2026.
So would you like to make that?
I'm making a motion that all the policies we adopted tonight will be implemented and take effect July 1 of 2026.
Second. All those in favor? I vote that unanimously.
So that gives time for administration and us to implement it, also time, I think, to notify.
Everybody.
Yeah.
And get them posted.
Correct,
Yeah. Okay,
sorry.
so Rachel, you wanna give us an update on what's happening with the futures? Committee?
Yeah.
Call it the futures committee?
You can call it the futures
It's
committee.
so
I have
easier.
one little
Oh.
housekeeping thing. Is there something else we're going to have to present?
No.
No, okay. Then gonna be done I'm gonna leave.
By next meeting, I'll be able to present things.
And now she can take notes.
And now I can. Yes, okay. I shared this document with you.
Perfect. I have lost all of my documents. Hold on.
Yeah, I'll wait a minute.
I just need 1 second. There's literally like
Oh, yeah, you do.
100 windows open on my computer. I can't believe it is still working.
How's your battery?
Well, I don't need it anymore, I'm done. It dies, it dies.
You go to sleep.
It's
with your
okay.
computer.
I made it through my section. The rest-
Yay.
So keep your charge, thank you.
I got it all in now. I got the.
Sarah,
little
tell me when you're
zigzag.
good.
I just need.
Yay.
So close. So close. I
still
also
going.
can find the document because she's like a little bit lost.
Do you wanna just keep going in the one I start? No, this makes sense.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Great, okay, the School Futures Committee is right now doing lots of research, that's the update. We are meeting next week, I believe in person, I'm confirming with Jody, and I can share about that if you want to come, you don't need to come. I'm just gonna read for you all the list of all the options that we're looking at, cause I think it's helpful to know. I'm gonna start from the more interesting ones that were not on the list from the select board. We are exploring choice and DESI requirements around a magnet school. We're exploring options around increasing revenue opportunities, including and especially around senior engagement in town. We are exploring a move to a mixed grade model, adding back pre-K into the school, the finances around increasing choice students. We are exploring a move to superintendency union 28. Those are all of the other options that were potential, and then the ones that we also are exploring that were dictated to us, we're closing the school and establishing tuition agreements with nearby towns, which is gonna include I am talking to Amherst, Shutesbury, and Belchertown.
Hold on, wait. Amherst, Hughes.
Ouch.
Yep.
We are exploring regionalization with Amherst. And then we are also exploring regionalization with Shrewsbury, Leverett, Belchertown. We are exploring operating as a K-5 school only and a tuition agreement just for grade 6 into Shutesbury, Amherst, and Leverett. I don't know why I went in that order that time. And we are projecting costs for continuing operations as is. That's a lot of options.
A lot of work.
A lot of work. The committee, to remind you all, is myself, Dr. Z, Sarah Sakura, who's a 7th generation Pelham resident and grew up at Pelham, as did her parents, grandparents, great grandparents, and go to road school. Her family also does construction, and so she's doing a lot of work, particularly around capital project costs and understanding grants for that. Kara is on the committee and on the finance committee, and so she's lending especially towards how this all interacts with town costs. And then Anne Nugent is working with me a little bit on modeling out what other costs, what other income might look like. That's really where she's weighing in this right now. Dr. Z and I would say, have taken on the lion's share of research. I am talking to lots of other school committee members, and Dr. Z has probably a growing list every time I email her of data that she's working on. But we'll get there.
I don't go nuts when you email me.
But we have a lot that we're working on. We are trying not to add to this list at this point, and are gonna kind of get through all of this, reevaluate and see if there's anything that needs to be added or adjusted.
Wow,
Great.
I think that's.
Thanks. We'll see if we actually get through all of it, because right now, every superintendent has told me they're not gonna talk to me until I have something on letterhead, which took 5 days to get from our wonderful town. But we'll get it. We will move on.
Okay, right.
Awesome. Yeah.
So I put committee updates on here. I just wanted to, so I've been asked to appoint people to a couple of things. And I just want to say, as I've done that, I've been trying to make sure that everybody is involved somewhere, that we're spreading ourselves out. So Rachel, of course, is the chair of the Futures Committee already. Jenny is going to be on the Pelham Working Group. William, I've asked, well, Sarah Bess and I have been asked, there's gonna be a state of, what is it called?
The Pelham
Pelham Working Group.
And that's like finance, like.
We don't know exactly.
I do have an email, I can explain.
Okay. Thank you.
Which order
And
is it?
I'm on that, Dr. Z.
Oh, I see.
This is not a Pelham. This
It's
is,
more looking at like the shorter term, like health and
Yeah.
wellness of the school,
Got it.
right.
not the future.
Right. And then there is going to be a state of the district meeting, half day sort of meeting. And Sarah Basson and I will both be on it because we're chairs, and I have asked William to be the person on that. And so I think we're, trying to make sure that everybody is working on something. So I just wanted to say that. Does anybody have any other things they wanted to tell us about?
I would just say that, and Dr. Z told me to be quiet if I can't. Can I just say that I was pushed forward for interviews today, and we interviewed candidates, I can say that? And we'll have an update,
Sure, you can say that.
and we'll have an update.
What would be interviews for?
It was the interviews for the Director of Student Services.
Okay, great. Glad to hear.
So
that.
that process is moving forward.
Okay, school committee goals. Well, we're not really gonna talk much about school committee goals tonight because we had so many other things to do. I would just like to kind of maybe combine that with the retreat thing, which is, Rachel asked if we could get a date set sooner rather than later. Probably that will be helpful for everybody for planning over the summer. One possibility I was wondering about is whether we could do something along maybe we could engage Tracy Novick to come and work with us to look at the goal. I'm just gonna throw this all out there. I think to help us set goals for next year. And maybe work with us a little bit on how we evaluate ourselves based on the goals that we created this year. And maybe incorporate that in also something around our protocols, our operating procedures, because we never really finalized those this year. So I welcome any thoughts anybody has.
When are we talking about?
Well, before I say, usually we do something in August. It doesn't have to be August. It can be June, it could be July. If we were gonna ask Tracy to come, I would need to work out something with her too. Have you all talked about the retreat at the region?
Not recently.
Okay.
It might be nice for Pelham to just do its own thing. I think we're gonna have a big year next year, so.
Yeah, we are.
We can do our, we don't always have to be friends with everybody.
All right.
We can still be friends.
We can still be friends, we don't have to do all the things, especially I will say that the the joint meetings are fantastic. We can get a lot of things done, but it's nice to have, like, we are a committee of 5 and it is easier to do stuff sometimes with a smaller group. So I would be in support of Pelham doing its own thing, and then I like all of these things, especially with looking forward to like what our next year anticipates looking like, and working with Tracy to see what she has that would fit in. Well, I think she's good at helping.
Define
that.
addition from the two,
Yeah.
right? Okay, well, then let me ask. Preferences for months of the summer?
I mean, me personally,
Yeah.
August is filled with family stuff.
Okay,
So to me, August would not be my
my
preference,
preference,
but
okay,
it just depends, so I don't know,
Okay.
I mean. Maybe the last week of August, no? The first week of August, I'm really busy, and the third week of August, I think. July probably would be a little bit easier, yeah.
I'm not around from the 20th of July to August. So, okay, at this Sunday, yeah, so.
That's around them, so.
So.
So
they-
earlier in July.
So like the week of July 13th, I could do.
That's
Where are
like
you?
I think I got that week.
Yeah.
July 4th, let's just.
Random question, do you expect the superintendent to be there?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you expect
Do
to
you
be
expect me to be there?
I don't think it's essential. What's your summer like?
also full? I mean, I think maybe talk to Tracy. I'm sure her summer is also busy.
It
It
is.
sounds like we have a couple of things we want to talk about. Maybe look at a couple of dates she has, and then we can do our best to
To fit it in.
fit in around that.
So maybe we can come in June maybe you could come in June with a few possibilities and then we can.
Maybe the end of the month, that works for.
Yeah, I just mean, to the June, like, once Tracy's given some choices.
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
in the June
no,
meeting.
I will get in touch with her right away. I didn't want to contact her till we talked about it tonight and see what people thought about that. Okay, well, yeah, so I will have information in June. Maybe before that, even I can send something out if I get it. Right, all right. Warrant reports are here. So I move to accept the consent agenda.
Second,
All those in favor? We accept the consent agenda unanimously. We will get to minutes when Sarah Best's life calms down just a little bit.
My 3 pages of notes didn't help, yeah.
Worries. I already can get several pages. Oh, so we're good.
So future planning, shoot, I closed that.
I have it. The joint.
No, I meant for the, for our next Pelham meeting. Yeah, there's a joint meeting on the 20th.
I have no idea if I can say this now or not, so I'm just gonna say it, you can tell me if I can. Parents have asked if we can send another update. Cause they haven't gotten an update since the budget was passed.
A general update
Yeah.
on things
I would.
from the school committee.
Yeah,
We can do that.
I don't know that, I'm saying it in the context of future agenda, but I don't know.
Do you want me to go over the joint agenda?
Yes.
Coming.
Yes.
So May 20th, there'll be a joint meeting, which we will talk about superintendent goals for 26-27. We will talk about strategic plan, a district student bill of rights, district start times. Second reads for the 3 policies we read first today. So professional teacher status, staff ethics and conflict of interest, and school committee meetings. And then we have a laundry list of policies for first read. GBEC, drug-free workplace policy, GCA, professional staff positions, GCBA, professional staff salary schedules, GCBC, professional staff supplementary pay plans, GCE, professional staff recruiting and posting of vacancies, GCF, professional staff hiring, GDA, support staff positions, ADDA, background check, ADDAR, core policies, GBGE, violence in the workplace, GCG, part-time substitute professional staff employment, GCIA, professional staff development, GDB, support staff contracts and compensation plans, and JKAA, physical restraint and behavior support. Then June 10th will also be a joint meeting, which will have conversation around Dr. Z will present her 25-26 artifacts. And then all of those policies I just read for first read will be for second read. So then all of that work that our fantastic policy team has done over the past year will be all set and ready to go for the fall for the next school year.
And just to say for JKAA, that was sent off to legal Monday, yesterday.
Some days
Sent off
before
to legal
today.
yesterday. They are doing amazing things and going to have it back by Monday or Tuesday of next week. So we will have we will meet with policy on that again. I believe that we're going to have the first read on first read on May 20th. And then policy is going to schedule a community listening session, forum, meeting, coffee chat. I'm not quite sure how it's gonna be labeled.
We'll need a policy for it.
Yeah. And then we're also gonna do a similar meeting just for staff. But it's gonna happen between the first read and second.
That's great.
Sarah, can you send calendar invites for both of the joint?
Yes. I can.
I'm asking, that was multiple. I also kind of thought of it, but now I miss.
I have them as hold.
I have this whole.
They are as holds.
Okay.
You know what? We're just gonna take the hold off.
Great. And you add, no, Amherst is on. Else.
Yeah, it's in for future agenda planning. I think that we have to. So we do town meeting this Saturday,
Yes.
and then we have elections on Tuesday. So then future agenda planning will have to reorganize.
Yes, and typically we do that at our first regular meeting after the election, which would be June 7th.
And then there was one policy that says that we're supposed to send 2 people forward for region within 10 days. Have we decided anything with that or like?
We've never done that,
Okay.
done that separately. My personal opinion is I think I would want to do the officers before we do regional reps.
So we can
That's-
suspend policy and suggest.
Okay, so we'll do that at our June 2nd meeting. No. We'll do it
We
tonight.
can do it tonight.
Tonight. Okay,
I think that would be, and then policy can look at that policy.
yes,
To understand.
right, because I emailed the other towns to ask how they do it.
What are they doing?
Well, Tim said in Leverett, the timing just works. And in Shrewsbury, Anna said, gee, I don't know, I don't think we do that, but I'm gonna check with somebody, and I never heard back. But there's policy.
The policy says that, what is the policy?
You have to elect your regional reps within 10 days of the town election.
Yeah, we just need to figure out which the actual policy is. I emailed it, let me see. School committee governance, so it has to be a B policy.
No, I could search with name.
Sorry.
BDA. Local school committees of each member town will, within 10 days after each annual town election, select from its own membership the number of regional school committee members specified in the regional agreement, the regional school district agreement. 2 members of the Pelham School Committee, 1 of the member of the Leverett School Committee, and 1 member of the Shutesbury School Committee are selected by their respective school committees to serve as members of the regional school committee. Each selected member will become a member of the regional school committee on the day of his or her election, and she will serve for the duration of the member's term on the local school committee or until a successor has been selected. Sorry, that was a really.
So I would make a motion to suspend policy BDA and to elect our 2 representatives at a regularly scheduled meeting June 2nd.
Did you just make that as a motion?
Yes.
I seconded. Great. All those,
Wait.
she needs to know.
So I'm
Who seconded?
I did.
Margaret did.
Motion to suspend a portion of policy BDA. There, what?
Elect regional representatives in our next scheduled meeting.
Our next regularly scheduled meeting June 2nd.
Motion to suspend a portion of policy BDA to elect regional representatives at the next regularly scheduled Pelham School Committee meeting on June 2nd. Is that accurate?
Yes.
You elect Pelham's regional representatives. Okay. Is that?
Margaret second. Yeah.
All those in favor? Yeah, motion passes unanimously.
And we could push forward that policy. But no, well, we can look at it.
Bring it to policy to have it
And if,
figured out.
and if policy thinks that it doesn't have to go to legal counsel, which I'm not sure if we just change those few things, it does, we can maybe put it on May 20th. We'll see.
Okay.
We will dive more into it.
We were talking about future agenda.
Future agenda, yeah.
And at this point, we're really looking at June. I had, we took a couple of things off that sort of sample agenda. Say it wasn't sample, it was a working agenda, I think, that you started. So I had down here committee self-evaluation, but I don't, we'll do that at a retreat, I think. I have here Dr. Z's superintendent's presentation on Pelham program review. Is that something to be prepared to do in June?
I should be, because I have to present my artifact.
Okay, so. School climate data collection and analysis, end of year check-in, part of program review and evaluation on this. We have to present our superintendent evaluation results. When are we going to do the evaluation? The
So
committee members.
I think that's part of what should. I think the chairs are gonna have to. Oh, okay, hold on, let me think of it. So the superintendent presents her artifacts on the 10th, hold on, I need to look at the calendar.
June 10th, right, yeah.
We're going to be attached to the meeting. Oh, why? You all these.
So we have to change it all to RB3.
So. If they're presented on the 10th. Then okay, so here's gonna be my rough suggestion, looking at the calendars. So if the artifacts are presented on the 10th, an individual committee member should be evaluations due on the 17th. And then there is a regional meeting on the 23rd, but Pelham could meet on the 20. I don't know anything else about these days. I'm just picking them. But then the 24th could be
When they get presented.
when it gets presented.
So I know.
But like, if the artifacts are presented on the 10th, like the committee needs, that gives a week, which includes a weekend, because it's hard to do these things during the week.
And then the summative evaluation, which the chairs do.
Then you have another week from, so artifacts are presented on Wednesday, the 10th. Regular school committee are due on the 17th,
Right.
and then the summative. Or composite, whatever it's called, the chairs report on the 24th.
Okay. On or after, that's what you're saying? No, it's done at a meeting.
It's
typically.
Oh, but it could.
But is that like a regions meeting?
The regional meeting is on the 23rd.
Got it.
I just was picking a day to say like,
But the Pelham will do it on their own.
yeah, it doesn't have to be a joint meeting, just so that Wednesday is another week. Okay, after, that way, I think the 24th.
So sometime the 24th.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying.
Okay.
But I think it does have to be done before July 1, right after the. I think it's in the, I'm pretty sure it's in the contract that it has to be done before.
I didn't mean like forever later, I just meant like over the next few days.
Yeah,
But a week, to give us a chance to.
yeah,
So I remember Anna talking about how this new system was gonna provide us, somehow AI was gonna provide.
different. We will get a.
Yeah, okay, I wonder.
Yes, there is also something that will happen. I don't know all of the details of how it will work for chairs to receive. It will all still be in Perform,
Okay,
that we will receive the reports.
okay, so more to come on that for the chairs.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I have something here with a question about the SEAC annual report. Is that something?
Was that on the,
That was probably on.
I think that's a regional thing.
That's regional, okay.
So SEAC is the.
Special
School
education.
equity.
Okay.
That was school equity one.
I
right?
think that is
And-
regional.
And I heard that they weren't regional only, but I don't know if we've ever decided they weren't gonna be regional only for Pelham.
They're
Oh,
not, they're at Region and Amherst now. Cause they said they want elementary representation. So they're not, so that Region and Amherst, I don't think there's any representation for Pelham. And at some point, we need to talk about how the laws and these advisory committees work, because individuals are claiming advisory committees and seats on them when they actually should represent the towns and the committees they come from. So we'll talk about that another time.
You wanna talk about that at the June meeting?
No, I have
I
enough,
think
I have enough on my plate.
that's
I have
larger.
enough on my plate for a thing, yeah, but
That's a bigger discussion.
Could we try to identify what date, end of June is rough? Could we try to identify what date we might be meeting at the end of June while we are out here? Or is that too hard? It's okay if it is, but I thought it was.
Maybe Margaret and Dr. Z can, I'm sure, can work on providing some dates for the end and then email
Right,
us.
and that will be a short meeting.
Okay.
I mean, I believe we won't have other business.
Okay.
For that meeting unless something comes up.
My guess would be the intent for that meeting would be just to present the report.
And it can be virtual.
Just in budget
Yeah.
movement.
It could be.
Yeah.
Potentially.
I think it was last year, it was virtual,
Oh, yeah.
or maybe that was the year before.
Yeah, okay. I have on here review the student handbook.
Yeah, the handbook needs at least the update on cameras, I know.
So I had this discussion earlier today with the Amherst chair, and I am going to reach out because our timeline does not align with the timeline of the school committee thing. So I think that the policy, she sent an email, I was trying to read it just now. It's a lot. She sent it to you as well, William. I think the policy says that the school committee is supposed to review the handbook and give feedback, but it's not approved the handbook, and I'm trying to remember which handbook you guys actually have to approve, so I'll work, by time our agenda planning, I will definitely get that to you, Margaret, so. we could do
Yeah, what I wrote was review the student handbook.
Okay,
So, well, we can go over this, but those are potential talks.
The AI, I know we only got one public comment that came after a lot of not public comment. And maybe this is for later, this does not need to be in June. I would like to get AI and curriculum on the agenda at some point and would love for Tracy to, not for Tanya, to join a conversation with the committee to talk about the role of AI in school curriculum.
at some point I have to start talking to the school committee about the fact that, as superintendent, I have a lot of knowledge, and I know you guys think that I just put individuals there, but I don't just sit and be a pretty face in these meetings, so. And also there's other staff member that works with our executive directors on different things. I believe that I want to be mindful, and I think one of the chairs, the regional chair, asked me something about what's happening with the ed tech lawsuits, because it's not just iReady, it's various ed tech. So I am
Yeah.
working with legal to determine where our positioning is on a lot of these things.
My entire day job is about AI and education. To the degree that that's useful.
Okay, so that's probably something. For next.
Yeah, it could even be part of a retreat conversation.
All right, I think we're done.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you all.
So I didn't see this.